Hello, Flosstube. This is Cyndy Young. I'm Luhu Stitches, and I'm here to make my 9th Flosstube video. I'm looking at my screen on my new computer, and I'm looking a little washed out, so I'm hoping that this looks all right and that you can see things fine. Anyway, Happy New Year. I know it's the end of January, but I want to get my Happy New Year in. And thank all of you for your comments and viewing and just stopping by, especially after I hadn't made a video in a while. So tell your friends about me. I'd appreciate it. I love having viewers. I love thumbs up because that means more people will see my video, and I like being a part of the conversation. So it's not so much for my own, kudos, but just I like being a part of the conversation. Anyway, I'm just here to do a really quick Flosstube. I said this is a new computer, so I had 2 days before Christmas, our Apple MacBook Pro had a catastrophic disk failure, meaning we weren't ever getting back in it again, and I lost everything that was in there, which was a bummer. But thankfully, the Lord had provided, and we had money to purchase a new one. And I decided to go the PC route, and we got a Lenovo Yoga, and I'm pretty excited about it. I wish I could show you what it looks like, but I'm actually using it to film this, so I'm sorry. But it will convert to like a pad, like an iPad type format. So I can totally take, how normally you have your laptop like this. I can totally fold it back this way and use a special pen, a bamboo pen, and I can do my charts on my computer and use it like a notebook or an iPad. Pretty exciting, and I really love it. And it's already saved my hand a lot of pain from just doing this on the mouse pad. So pretty nice, and really grateful to God for providing for us in that way. I'm looking at the battery level on my on my brand new Lenovo and realizing I need to go get the cord. So I'm going to pause this. Hopefully I don't lose anything, but I will be right back. Hi there, I'm back, and I got my little computer all hooked up to its energy source. So let's get on with the stitchy part of things, what I came here to talk about. So I'm just going to talk about my WIPs. I kind of am just stitching what I feel like stitching. So I have this bag that I carry around with me. It is one of these project bags that I got from Amazon, and I just stuff in there whatever I feel like stitching, whatever I'm in the mood for stitching. And so what I've been working on the last month or so is first of all, Red, White, and Bloom from, I'm sorry, I need to get oriented here, from Country Cottage Needleworks. Now it's showing up in reverse on my screen, so I'm hoping you're seeing it the right way. Anyhow, that's what I've been working on, and I haven't gotten a ton done, but I've been working on these leaves right here and managing not to make too many mistakes. Hallelujah. So no frogging, no frogs. The other thing I've been working on, and I'm nearly done with, except I have to find my card of old gold so I can do the bee, is I'm almost done. I mean, literally nearly done with Wilhelmina. I just have to do the little bee, which I think is like up in here somewhere. So this is what she looks like when she's all done. And anyway, just one color, and I have it. I just have to figure out what other WIP I stuck it in. Do you ever do stuff like that? Where did I put that? I can't remember where I put that. I think it might be in a fall project. The other thing I've been working on is I actually started this last January when Priscilla and Chelsea had their, and actually it's still ongoing, stitch along for Snowfall from Country Cottage Needleworks. And I'm actually making a little progress. I'm all done with the words. I think the only thing I need to finish is this G right here, and then there's a comma. I'm hoping you're seeing that. Comma that comes after that, and I've gotten some trees done. So I'm enjoying that. I watch my British mysteries and I stitch this, and I really enjoy it. Isn't that funny? I have projects where I like binge watch something, and when I look at that project, I think about whatever it was I was binge watching. Speaking of binge watching, last Saturday I binge watched the Great British Baking Show, the whole thing, all day long. That's what I watched all day long. My husband was out of town. Okay, so those are my WIPs. I also have a couple of WIPs I'm working on for my shop, but I can't show you those. I can't show you those, so I'm sorry. But hopefully really soon I'll be able to. They're a Valentine and spring related patterns. And I will have some things to show you from my shop as well at the very end. So if you're not interested, you can turn me off. But at the end, stick with me while I show you all the stuff I've been getting. So my big thing I decided this year, pardon me, I'm dropping things, was I wanted to beef up my specialty thread collection. Now I haven't gotten all of these this month, but this is kind of my collection that I've been working on. And it's a lot of classic color works. There some Weeks dye works, and then some Gentle Arts threads. And then also I'm really into and I'm not going to go through all the ones that I got, but some of my favorites are like bamboo, and there's a pink one. Oh, this pink orange one. It just reminds me of sherbet. I don't know if you can kind of see. It reminds me of sherbet, and I like sherbet. Anyway, but I'm into DMC's color variations, and they're a variegated thread, but it's a little more subtle. I see them as more subtle than other threads. Let me put that paper up again so you can see. So I've also been collecting these, and these actually go with, I purchased Satsuma Street's, I think it was this summer, which I can't think of what the Spanish word for summer is because that's the name of the pattern. But it's a sampler, and she's got 9 squares with different images in it, and she uses a lot of the DMC color variations in that. So I grabbed these because this goes with, they go with that particular pattern. Anyway, I got to go down to Placerville a couple weeks ago and visit my dad, and my sister and I cleaned his house, and that was fun, not. But we got to go 2 places. We went to the Kelsey's Needlecrafts, and also the quilt store, because that's what we do. And when I went to Kelsey's, I did pick up, well, just so you can see, more thread from Classic Colorworks, but it all goes with, I got, let me see, I should have pulled this out before. I got one of the glitter houses. I got number 2 because it was pink, and I like pink. That glitter house number 2 from Glitter Village, and all the corresponding threads that go with it. I did not, there was a metallic special thread and I chose not to get that. I don't know why. I don't really like working with metallic threads. I do it, but I thought this stitching right here is for my own pleasure and I don't want to hate what I'm doing. So I went with just the DMC conversion of that particular thread. The other thing we got was my sister was working on a project, embroidery project, and she needed a needle threader. And right there by the, I hope you can see that pretty well. There's a lot of glare going on. Right by the cash register was this little basket of needle minders and needle threaders, but this is a needle minder threader. And it's a little bunny, and there were kitties and everything like that. And every once in a while, I need a needle threader, and I thought this is great. I have yet to attach it to a project, but it's on my list of things to do. And it's made by Puffin & Company. It says magnetic needle threader, but it could be a needle minder as well. So there you go. You got both right on your project. How awesome is that? And then we went to the quilt store and I sat there and I wasn't going to buy anything. I thought I spent a wad on thread at Kelsey's and I thought I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just not. And they were doing an inventory reduction before tax season. And so all this fabric was, if you bought a yard or more, it was 40% off. And I sat there and I'm a sucker for the reproduction, 30s kind of reproduction fabrics. And I sat there and I looked at this one bolt of fabric. But no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to do it. Not going to buy it. I bought it. I bought a yard. I thought 40% off an $11.95 a yard fabric made it like $6.95 or something like that. And I love the colors. I hope you can hear me through the fabric. I love the colors. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And my husband hates to hear that. But I don't know. There was something about it. I just loved it. And now that I'm looking at my background, I'm like, huh, I wonder what it was. Maybe it was the colors. Anyway, it's the pattern too. I just loved it. Couldn't pass it up. I don't know what I need to figure out something to do with it because it's so pretty and I don't want to put it away. And then the last thing I got my hands on this month, due to the fact that DMC is no longer going to be making Monaco, I immediately went to, was it Down Sunshine Lane? Yes, it was Down Sunshine Lane. And I ordered Monaco, just plain old white Monaco in the 28 count. I was going to get a fat half, but the fat halves were already sold out, and I got 2 fat quarters because I really like this. And I think what's so nice about it is that it dyes well. I haven't done very much dyeing, really none. And but it's 100% cotton, so of course it's going to take a dye way better than a synthetic blend will. And to me it's mind-boggling. Why would you stop making that? So maybe they'll change their minds. Maybe there'll be enough of an outcry that they'll change their minds. Or maybe somebody else will start making it. I guess I have heard that they are going to continue to make a couple colors like antique white and a darker color. I'm not sure what that is. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I hear. I don't know. I still think it's nuts that they're not going to make. I mean, why would you do that? I'm sure there's perfectly sound business reasons that I'm completely unaware of. Anyway, so that was kind of my acquisition. And then down in Placerville, my sister and I walk through. So the old downtown theater has been turned into an antique store. And we were kind of joking that, oh yeah, I remember seeing When Harry Met Sally here and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and stuff like that at this theater. But now it's an antique store. So we walked in there and we got to one of the first booths and I saw this quilt. And I just like was gasping. And my sister said, "Do you want it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "I'll get it for you." I have the sweetest sister. I don't even know why she did that. But it has a lot of reproduction fabrics in it. Looks like it could be from several eras. There's some gingham, there's 30s, and there looked like there could be some stuff maybe from the 50s in it. Anyhow, sorry, making a mess. There we go. I maybe shouldn't have pulled it off the couch so you could still see it. Anyhow, she picked it up and said, "I'm getting it for you." So you recall in a previous video, my mom and my sister were getting after me about the quilt that in the other room that I sometimes sit in front of and about needing to take it down off the wall for a while. And so I'm going to put a hanging sleeve on this and that's going to go up on that wall. So I've been adding a little more color to my house. It was kind of blue and white and that was it. But I've been adding kind of the colors you see in the map and on that quilt and just to brighten things up a bit. So that fits in just perfectly, especially the pink because I'm kind of like into pink right now. Anyhow, okay. So those are all my acquisitions for the month of January. Then I've been doing some organizing and I'll explain that in a minute, but I was going through some patterns and I had brought home a bunch of stuff at the end of July from my mom's house. And I just kind of stacked it all up and put it in a magazine box and didn't really, I don't know, just kind of forgot about it. So last night I've been kind of thinking about Stitch Mania and thinking about how I would like to approach Stitch Mania this year. And so I just have been doing a little inventory of patterns that I have purchased and what WIPs I have going on, all my threads. I do use an app on my phone for my DMC, the Weeks Dye Works, and Gentle Arts has an app, but it doesn't have the Classic Colorworks in the app for some reason. I don't know why. And so I decided I was going to create my own little inventory. I'll show you that in a second. But so I want to show you some finds from my mom. So this particular pattern called Amid Amish Life first appeared in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, Volume 2, Number 4, the March-April 1987 version. And the reason I know that because it says it right here at the bottom of the page. I'm not like an encyclopedia or anything. And I have loved it ever since. I think the first place I saw it was done was at the California State Fair. And somebody had done this whole project and entered it and won some ribbons for it. And I loved it. I just loved it. And so I pulled it out and my mom had bought it. And I think I might have saved at least the pattern out of the magazine. The next one, my mother loved Charles Wysocki. And here is a booklet from Dimensions of 4 seasons. The 4 seasons, different houses during the 4 seasons, spring, summer, winter, and fall. And so I pulled that out. I don't know if I'll have to decide which one I want to do. Fortunately, this is like DMC. So I have a lot of DMC. So I bet I could find most of the DMC in there. And then this is a book from American School of Needlework that I purchased. Well, you can tell I purchased it a long time ago because it was only $4.50. And it's all blue and white. And I've had a love affair with blue and white for many, many years. And so I thought maybe I could pick a small project out of here, like maybe do one of these towels, or there's the tiles. There's some tiles with a classic, I think it's a rose pattern. I think these round ones are from the willow pattern, perhaps, of dishes. Anyway, pretty. I love little mice. And then another one that I found from Diane Arthur's was something I bought at Kelsey's many years ago, because this is only $5.50. And it's a little springtime with a bunny. And I thought she has listed in here DMCs, but I thought it would be really pretty to do it with some specialty threads, you know, and get some variation in some of the larger areas of stitching, like the bunny and the little spring. I don't know if you can see, it says spring right there, in the basket. But that would be pretty. And then a Waxing Moon Design spring stack. And this is from 2004. And so this is actually a photograph, which I like. Anyway, it makes the picture really clear. Anyhow, another cute springtime design that I thought was cute. Cute. I said cute like 3 times in that. It's really, really cute. See how cute it is? And I'm not sure, does she has some Gentle Arts variations in here. Oh, my phone's ringing. Excuse me. All right, I'm back. Okay, so now I have to try and remember what I was talking about. Oh, I was showing you that's what I was doing. So that was a school thing I had to take care of, and yeah, anyway. Okay, and then the last thing, this was from my mom's stash, and it's from Jeremiah Junction, and they had a magazine for many years called Cross Country Stitching, and it was a lot of very cute quilty things, usually associated with a Bible verse, which was nice, and nearly always done in DMC. And this particular chart also has anchor and JPC, which means, what does that mean? Coats. That's it. Coats stitching, which I have some in that box of that DMC box I got. But I don't really like the coats too much. Anyhow, but they're really cute and they're little hearts. So I think they'd be really quick and easy to stitch up. And so this one's called Country Sweethearts 2. It was only $3. So I couldn't find a publication date on here. Oh, 1993. 1993. That's like 16 years, or no, 26 years ago. But isn't it nice? There are many things out there in the cross-stitch world that transcend time and that we can still enjoy stitching. And it's just nice. It's fun. We may tweak colors a little bit according to our own tastes and fashions, but that's really nice. So I alluded to right before this the fact that I've been doing some organizing of my stash. So my thread stash, and then last night I sat down and wrote down what I actually had in the box, because a lot of times, so I put my new, I'm sorry, let me finish the sentence for you. When I purchase a new pattern, I frequently stick it in the magazine box that I have for it, like all my kind of miscellaneous patterns, you know, if they're not a magazine or whatever. And then frequently promptly forget that I have them. And so I decided I needed to write them down so that I could, well, first of all, remember that I have them. And I'm sorry, another phone call from the school. Okay, for the record, the school phone calls are not crises. They're just questions about a fundraiser, but I never know. You know, I got to answer the phone. So, okay, my kid's fine. I think I'm fine. I just hope I don't get any more phone calls. All right, so I bought a package of these notebooks from the paper source way back in October. And this one I had kind of been putting down ideas of things I wanted to get done for my business, sketches. There's a few sketches in here and that sort of thing. But I thought it would also be a great place to write down all my classic colorworks threads that I own, which probably is the most important thing because, you know, what I've been doing is when I go to a needlework store, I've just kind of been beefing up my classic colorworks collection, and I'm frequently drawn to the same colors over and over again, but I want a wide range of colors, right? Don't we all? I want all the things, frankly. So I created a little alphabetized. I found a list online of the classic colorworks threads, and I made a little alphabetized. So I started a little list in my book of the colors that I have, and I'll write a little number. Like if I have 2 hanks of the color, then I'll write that, you know, 2 next to it, because there were actually a few that I had a couple of, because probably because I had bought different patterns that required those colors. And then I wrote down my works in progress, and I decided, since I tend to kind of kit up, but I like to share between kits. I don't like to like buy 10 of the same color unless it's like 310 or B52 or something like that. I wrote down my WIPs in progress, and then I wrote down, and I'm hoping you can kind of see this, all the threads that I have in that WIP bag. So for instance, the first one was the Lizzie Kate Thankful String, and which I actually haven't started, but I have it all kitted up. So I wrote down, you know, it has all the DMC threads and the Weeks Dye Works threads. And I did that with all of them. Now, when I finish, I plan on making a notation, like, for instance, right down here at the bottom of this page, I have Wilhelmina, and she's nearly done. So when I finish, I'll return the threads to the general population of threads and mark this as finished. Yay! And maybe I'll start creating an FO and an FFO list. That would be nice. I also made a list of my Luhu Stitches works in progress, because I have more than one. And I have a couple that I've really moved to the back burner, are barely warm, and then a few that are hot to get done. Actually, 2 that are hot to get done right now. And then I made a list of my patterns, and I did the same alphabetizing thing. Probably you could see it best with the Little House Needleworks. So under L, I have Little House Needleworks, and then I have all the patterns that I have. Actually, I think there's a few more in there that aren't on the list yet. I just did that last night. So I included these on that list because they might be part of my Stitch Mania plans, maybe. There's so many things I would like to stitch, and then there's the things that I need to stitch for Luhu Stitches for the shop. Anyway, there's that. Okay, so this is the part of, so that's my little organizational journal, and I was kind of pleased with it. And my husband last night asked me, he goes, why don't you just put this on the computer? I said, because I like having something I feel, and I wrote it down, and it helps me remember. If I type it into a computer on a spreadsheet, I may have the list, but I don't remember it as well. So for me, this is really tactile and tangible, and helps me remember what I have and so forth. Maybe not with threads, but definitely with patterns and WIPs. So anyway, all right, so this is the part of the show where I talk about my shop. And just real quickly, I just want to talk about a couple things. There's been a lot of buzz in some of the Facebook groups about you shouldn't buy from Etsy because they're all illegal. You know, all the PDFs are illegal. I've heard that read that blatant statement. I'm not looking to cause a big discussion right now. I just want to say there are plenty of legal designers and pattern makers on Etsy selling their patterns as PDFs that have not copied their original ideas. And the only reason they might be illegal is because somebody else has bought them and copied them and is selling them themselves. Okay, so do a little research if you're not sure about a pattern. Typically, if someone's selling on Etsy and they're selling a Disney design or the NFL design or brand name design, the licensing fees are so large that there's no way they could sell that pattern to you for the price they're asking, which is usually $10 and under, and make any kind of profit if they were actually paying for the licensing. Disney licensing can get up into 5 digits to pay for licensing. So just be aware of that. I totally understand. Sometimes you just want to stitch what you want to stitch. But remember that somebody designed that. And for us smaller designers, we're trying to earn a living designing. And I don't generally like to wade into big controversies, but this copyright question seems to be a hot topic right now. So I think it's partially on the seller, but it's also on the buyer to do due diligence in finding out if what you're purchasing is from the original designer or a legal agent of that designer. So anyway, or someone who's paid to do that, licensed to do that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. And here are some things in my shop as PDF downloads at the moment that you can purchase that are kind of related to spring into Valentine's Day. So a real obvious Valentine's Day one is my little bunny called Be Mine. It was actually designed by my daughter and stitched by me, made into a chart by me. And it just says Be Mine, and he's holding his little heart, and he has his little flower, and he'd like you to be his. And I actually made this into a card so that you could gift it that way. It's kind of falling apart. The tape's not holding. Another little cute design would be these two lovebirds, folk art lovebirds. And this guy is called Be Mine Bunny. This is called folk art birds, heart, birds, and two little birds meeting over a flower and falling in love. Then I have, this is more spring, but it's just modern flower ABCs. And so this is reminiscent, the colors, it's reminiscent of the colors in my quilt that I got, pink and orange, and then with the more modern ABC. So it's a sampler of sorts. And then I have this chalk inspired. I did this as a chalk drawing for my daughter's school and turned it into a stitched piece. And it could easily be a Valentine. And it says, Be sweet and bumble. And you have a little bumblebee on there with a heart and flowers and a pretty lace trim. And that's the name of the pattern, Be Sweet and Bumble. So you can find all 4 of those in my shop on Etsy. I will have the link below. Tell me, I'd love to hear what you guys are stitching these days and what you're interested in stitching. What draws you when you're looking for a pattern or you see a pattern? What really sparks your interest and says, I just have to stitch that? Meanwhile, happy stitching and have a great February.